Hi everyone, I am Lena Shiza and I'm glad to present our COLD 2020 paper about the analysis of gradient descent on wide two-layer ReLU neural networks, which is joint work with Francis Bach. In this paper, we consider a binary classification task. xy is a couple of random variables where x is the input and lives in RD, and y is the output and takes values in -1, 1. The goal is, given n samples xi, yi's, to build a function h from RD to R such that the sign of h of x predicts the value of y. To build such a predictor h, we consider wide two-layer ReLU neural networks, which consist in taking h as the sum of m simple functions phi, each parameterized by a vector wj that lives in R to the d plus 2. So more precisely, phi is the composition of an affine form parameterized by a nonlinearity, which is the positive part, also called the ReLU, and a multiplication by a scalar b. We will call a the input weight, and b the output weight, and w is the vector ab. Also, m is the width of the network and is a large number. In fact, in our analysis, we will take the limit where m goes to plus infinity, and the factor 1 over m is needed to obtain a non-degenerate limit. So although our results could be applied to more general functions phi, we will only consider this one in this short presentation with the ReLU for the sake of clarity and because it's also the most commonly used in our networks. However, a key property of phi that is fundamental in our analysis is that it is positively too homogeneous in the parameter w, which means that if I multiply w by some scalar r, then the output is also multiplied by r squared, because both a and b are multiplied. So now that I have defined a parameterized class of predictors, the role of the learning algorithm is to select suitable parameters using the training data. And in this paper, we study gradient descent on the unregularized empirical risk. We first choose a loss, which is monotonous, and with an exponential tail, such as the logistic loss or the exponential loss. Now the empirical risk, Fm, is a function of all the parameters wj of the neural network, and is the average of the losses of the neural networks on the training set. A difficulty with this objective is that when the width m is large, there are many ways to minimize it. And in fact, here we can achieve arbitrarily small empirical risk by taking any classifier that is correct on the training set and multiplying it by a large scalar. But all these classifiers with zero training error will have very different generalization properties. So it's crucial to take into account the optimization algorithm to understand generalization. In our paper, we consider the following training dynamics. We initialize the parameters of each unit wj by sampling from a probability distribution on R to the d plus 2, which we call mu0. And then we consider the gradient flow of Fm that starts with this initialization, which is the continuous time version of gradient-based algorithms, such as gradient descent and stochastic gradient descent. So before starting with the theoretical analysis, let me show you an illustration. In this slide, we will see the training dynamics for a two-dimensional classification task. And in this case, the parameters wj are originally in R4, R to the 4, but we will plot instead a times the absolute value of b, so as to visualize the dynamics. And here, each particle represents a neuron, and its color red or blue depends on the sign of b. The hidden weights a are initialized uniformly on the sphere, and the output weight b is +1 or -1 with equal probability, and we have rescaled the radial axis so that the unit sphere is at infinity. And in the space of predictors, we show the training set made with pluses and minuses, and we show with colors the value of the predictor, and with a line, its zero-level set. So we have observed that although we have a large number of particles at initialization, they collapse into a few groups at the end of the dynamics, which leads in predictor space to a classifier with only a few straight edges. What can be said about this predictor that has been learned with gradient descent? So to start, let me show you where our analysis takes its inspiration from. Here is a result by Soudry and co-authors that deals with linear predictors and losses with an exponential tail. And they show that if the dataset is linearly separable, then for any initialization, the gradient flow diverges to infinity, and the normalized gradient flow W bar converges to a max margin classifier for the L2 norm, which is a solution to this optimization problem. This is an instance of implicit bias, because among the many classifiers with zero training error, the training dynamic selects a specific one, which is optimal in a certain sense. So in our main result, we will also characterize the implicit bias of neural networks as a max margin classifier, but in an infinite dimensional space. So for this purpose, I first need to introduce some functional norms in the space of predictors. So for a given predictor H, we can decompose it as a linear combination of simple ridge functions with direction A and with a weight G of A. The F2 norm of H corresponds to searching among all such decompositions for the decomposition with the smallest L2 norm here. And this can be shown to define a norm, to be the norm of a reproducible kernel Hilbert space. And the associated kernel is called the conjugate kernel. In contrast, the best L1 norm over such decompositions is called the F1 norm. On a statistical aspect, these two norms correspond to two different types of priors on the space of predictors. Oversimplifying it a little bit, the theory suggests that F2 puts a strong prior on isotropic smoothness, while F1 is much more flexible and allows also highly anisotropic smoothness. So it can adapt to the specific structure of the signal. Let us now present our main result. We assume, for the sake of concreteness, that the initialization is uniform on the sphere for the input layer and on -1, 1 for the output layer, as in our simulation, although this could be generalized to other initializations. We also assume that the label y is a function of the input, and also some technical assumptions that I will not detail in this short presentation. Under these assumptions, the predictor converges in direction to a max margin classifier for the F1 norm, when T and M, the width of the network, go to infinity. We also show that the limits can be interchanged. So this max margin problem that we solve asymptotically when training a two-layer neural networks is very attractive from a statistical point of view, and we'll soon see that it enjoys strong generalization properties. In contrast, it can be seen by applying the result of Soudry and co-authors that only training the output layer after a random initialization solves an F2 max margin problem, which is an unregularized kernel support vector machine. Let us observe these generalization properties in a specific experiment. We consider a two-class classification task in dimension d equals 15, but the data is distributed on 9 clusters on the two first coordinates, and the remaining coordinates are uniform noise. In this plot, we show the F1 margin after convergence of the dynamics as a function of m, the width of the neural networks. Our theorem says that this black curve converges to the max margin as m goes to infinity. And here in practice, we observe that m does not need to be too large for this asymptotic regime to be achieved, even in dimension d equals 50. In this other plot, the thick lines show the misclassification rates averaged over a few random experiments in the same setting. So in blue, this is after training both layers. So this is the F1 max margin classifier. And in orange, this is after training only the output layer. So this is the F2 max margin classifier. So with 500 samples, the blue curve shows almost perfect generalization, while the orange curve still shows 20% of mistakes. So training both layers is here incomparably better than training only the output layer. Another contribution of our work is a theoretical analysis that supports this observation. here is what we can say about the statistical performance of the F1 max margin classifier. Assume that X, the input variable, is bounded, and let delta of R be the largest interclass distance after an orthogonal projection of rank R. This means that there exists a rank R projection in the input space, such that the inputs from different classes are never closer than delta of R after this projection. So for instance, in our previous example, the quantity delta of 2 was positive because the data was well separated for some two-dimensional projection. The ratio R over delta will determine the complexity of the task, and it will be larger as the task becomes harder. Under this assumption, we can show that the F1 max margin enjoys the following generalization bound. The proportion of mistakes of the learned classifier is smaller than 1 over square root n times the ratio R over delta at the power over R over 2 plus 2. So the exponential dependency is in R and not in D. And in contrast, when we learn in F2, we can only show this bound for R equals to D, although we do not know lower bounds yet. So this bound is a strong non-asymptotic bound. It tells us that we do not need an exponential number of samples in the dimension before attaining a reasonable performance, which is the property that really matters in high-dimensional tasks. So let me finally present the last contribution of this paper. So far, all the optimization results are non-quantitative, but in practice, you would like to know what kind of step sizes behave well for such dynamics. So to better understand this, we take a look at simplified situations. We consider gradient ascent on minus the logarithm of the empirical risk with the exponential loss. So we call this objective the smooth margin because this function is a soft mean function. And taking minus the logarithm just changes the magnitude of the gradients, not their direction. So it just corresponds to a change of the step size in the gradient algorithm and gives a more natural scale to the problem. So for dynamics of this kind, we show that the normalized predictor follows online mirror ascent on a sequence of smooth margin losses which converge to the margin objective. And this leads to convergence rates in two situations. So first, we show that when training both layers, but fixing the direction of the neurons to make the problem convex, the dynamics converge in 1 over square root of t to the max margin if we take decreasing step sizes of order 1 over square root t, where t here is the iteration number. So this is the step size schedules that we used in our numerical experiments, even in the non-convex case. And second, we also study quantitatively the case where only the output layer is trained. And in that case, it is already known that the dynamics converge in 1 over square root t to the max margin with decreasing step sizes of order 1 over square root t. But what we prove is that the same convergence speed also holds for step sizes of order the norm of W over square root t. And this quantity can be seen to grow super polynomially with t. So this result shows that the dynamics converge at the same speed for drastically different step size schedules, which is a very interesting self-regularizing property of such dynamics that escape to infinity. We have reached the end of this presentation. Our goal was to understand the implicit bias of gradient descent on two-layer ReLU neural networks. And we have seen that the resulting predictors could show strong generalization properties. There are still many open questions associated to these dynamics, such as quantitative results, for instance. And another interesting line of research is to extend this analysis to more complex model architectures, such as deeper neural networks. There is already some partial progress in this direction, but so far the characterizations that we have are not strong enough to enable a statistical analysis, as we have shown in this paper for the two-layer case. Thank you for your attention.